What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler, and today starts the Western Conference Finals. That's right, I will be previewing the Los Angeles Lakers, the number one seed in the West, taking on the Denver Nuggets, a rematch of the 2010 Western Conference Finals. Obviously, a lot has changed since then. The rosters have turned over, but should make for a great series. If you haven't watched my Eastern Conference preview, I know we're already 2 games in. Boy, that series fun to watch, by the way. But that will be in the description, so if you want to get that. Let's look at the Nuggets first, though. The Nuggets, this season, against the Lakers, only one win in the regular season. That win coming in their second game of the year, 128-104. And honestly, that game was played so long ago where I don't even count it. I would look more so toward that fourth and final game they played, which was down in the bubble. Kyle Kuzma draining that game-winning shot. Obviously, the Nuggets were resting a lot of their players in that one, but you saw a lot out of the Lakers and the Nuggets. But the Nuggets, I think, this postseason have shown probably the most resiliency and fight and grit out of any team in the entire NBA bubble, outside of maybe the Portland Trailblazers when they were trying to get into the playoffs. But look at the Nuggets. Obviously, their first round against the Jazz, they were down 3-1. They came back to win in 7 games. Los Angeles Clippers, that second round series. The Nuggets lose game 1, 120-97. Win game 2, 110-101. Lose game 3, 113-107. Lose game 4, 96-85. So at this point, myself and probably a lot of other people are thinking, oh, this series is over. Denver's done. Clippers, Lakers, for Western Conference Finals, the matchup we all wanted to see. Not so fast. Game 5, Nuggets win 111-105, coming back from over 16 points down. Game 6, I think they were down 19 or something like that. They win 111-98. And then Game 7, the Nuggets just blow out the Clippers, 104-89, a absolute bashing. And it was honestly a great performance by the Nuggets. They come back from 2 3-1 series deficits. It's the first team ever to do so in the NBA playoffs. And frankly, I'm at a loss for words because you see their stars, Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, making plays when they matter the most. Murray has been a dominant scorer. Obviously, he took a slight regression in round 2 from round 1, having multiple 50-point games, but still very solid. He's averaging 27.1 points per game in the playoffs, 5 rebounds, 6.4 assists. And then there's Jokic, who has been extremely efficient. By the way, Murray and Jokic both, by the way, have over 25 PERs. Insane. Really great for this team. But Jokic, 25.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, which include, I think he had close to, if not more than, 20 rebounds in Game 7. I remember seeing he was 19, but I don't remember if he ever got 20. But he's also dishing out 6 assists. Mind you, he's a center. And the guy, he's just... I was watching the Game 7 broadcast and watching his awareness of the floor and just finding open guys, it's insane. He can do it from just off the rebound, flinging those monster Hail Mary passes down the court as if he was Drew Lock, the Denver Broncos quarterback, but also down low in the post. He gets the ball, he's scanning, surveying, and honestly, teams, like Jeff Van Gundy mentioned this in the broadcast of Game 7. Teams, if they're going to double team him, when he was working with Team USA, Van Gundy was, the head coach, Greg Popovich, was like, we're not going to double Jokic unless he doesn't see it coming. So that means the guy would come from behind him or from an area where Jokic is not looking. If they were to come from Jokic is looking at them and they're coming to double, it's game over because Jokic is going to easily find his teammate wide open and for an open shot at least. Maybe they won't knock it down. The Nuggets, by the way, have been knocking those shots down. But it's just Jokic is too good of a facilitator regardless of where he is on the court, whether it be in the post, up top at the top of the key, or even 94 feet away from the basket. It's just that good. And then looking at some of the other players, Jeremy Grant has had a very solid series. The guy out of Syracuse, 1 block this postseason per game, leading the team, 10.1 points coming off the bench for the most part in 33 minutes, which is, I think, a very solid contribution. Paul Millsap, he's been slow this playoffs, but he had that one really good game, or a couple really good games, I should say, against the Clippers that have brought this team back. Monte Morris obviously provides nice defense. Gary Harris, he was coming off the injury that missed some time in round 1, and then he's come back. He's been a solid third option, knockdown shooter for the team. Harris, 36.8% from three, 42.9% from the field. Relatively solid there. Torrey Craig, another guy. I mentioned Monte Morris. Michael Porter Jr., obviously he hasn't been as good as he was in the bubble, like in the regular season, but he's still been very solid, 11 points per game. It's just a piece off the bench. Provides moments. He had one crucial block, I think it was in Game 6 for the Nuggets, which I think goes a long, long way. Game 6 or Game 5, I don't remember off the top of my head. Overall, the Nuggets, they are a relatively deep team, and I think that could be something that bodes well for them going forward into this thing. And also, their head coach, Michael Malone, who has made a very conservative effort to make sure his name goes by Michael Malone, which I find very interesting. He's done a very good job keeping his team composed and just getting them back. Obviously, the natural inclination is when a team goes down 3-0 or 3-1 in a series is, all right, we're done. Season's over. Let's just go home. Especially now that they're in the bubble, the inclination is probably, all right, our season's over. Let's just go home, spend time with our families, enjoy this off season, and get back to doing what we want to do. Michael Malone and his coaching staff has kept this team very focused, and I think it also helps that they have really good leaders and guys like Murray, Jokic, and Millsap. But Malone, the credit, he deserves a lot of credit for keeping this team focused and just trying to win every single game. Shifting gears to the Lakers. I mean, obviously they've had a remarkable season, 52-19. First time they've gotten back to the Western Conference Finals since they last won a championship back in 2010. Obviously, Kobe Bryant led that team. Now it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two first-team All-NBA guys. Jokic, by the way, I think he was, if I read it correctly, I believe he was first-team All-NBA. Second-team All-NBA. So very solid there. Murray, obviously, if they were using the bubble stats, I think he'd be in consideration there. Lakers, first round series, they lose game 1 to the Portland Trailblazers, then they win 4 straight in 5. Similar thing with the Houston Rockets. They lose game 1, 112-97. It looked like, the Lakers are in trouble. The Rockets have dominated this team. And then the Lakers rattle off 4 straight wins, 117-109, 112-102, 110-100, and then 119-96, the series clinching game 5. And obviously, it all stems from LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Davis, 27.6 points per game, 10.9 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 1.5 blocks per game with over 31 PER this postseason. He's leading the team in points per game, rebounds per game, and blocks per game. So very talented on both ends. And LeBron James, I think he's starting to turn it on. You saw he maybe came out a little bit slow in some of those early playoff games, and now he's just hitting a stride. 26.6 points per game, team best 8.8 assists per game, 10.3 rebounds, 1.6 steals, and over 30 PER. Just very solid. And the thing that I look for with both James and Davis is their shooting. Davis, 58.6% from the field on 16.9 shots per game, 39.1% from 3 on 2 3-pointers per game. LeBron, 55.3% shooting from the field on 17 shots per game, and 37.1 3-point percentage, 6.2 threes per game on average. The one area where I think they got to get better in is free throws. Both guys are shooting under 70. Davis is shooting at 75% on 9.2 free throw attempts per game. LeBron, 72.4%. So they got to get a little bit better in that regard. The thing with the Lakers, it's going to be who steps up. Who's going to be the third option? It doesn't have to be the same guy every game, but one game is going to have to be Kyle Kuzma. The next day, it's going to have to be KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, who has since come back, came back at the start of this series and has been very solid for them. 2 steals per game in the series, 10.6 points per game. His brother got into an altercation with Russell Westbrook toward the end of the final game. And it will be interesting for the Lakers as well. So to combat the Rockets' small ball style of play, the Lakers went small. They didn't play Dwight Howard a whole lot. They didn't play JaVale McGee a whole lot. They went a lot more Markieff Morris, a lot more Alex Caruso. Maybe not as much Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith as you probably would have wanted to see, but they went small. Now against the Nuggets, where they have Nikola Jokic, I think they go back to a little more size, and I think that's going to be a good thing for the Lakers because they have a very solid, one of the best big men, if not the best big man in the entire NBA in Anthony Davis. And then JaVale McGee, who is no slouch of his own, and Dwight Howard, who is also a former number 1 overall pick and 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously not the same player he once was, but just bodies they could throw at Jokic that could really slow him down, and I think that could be a lot. I think the thing for the Lakers is they've had the rest advantage over the Nuggets, clearly. 10 games to 14 is going to do a lot. I think it's going to just be on head coach Frank Vogel to make sure their team doesn't get too overly confident in thinking, oh, this is a wrap. We weren't expecting to play the Nuggets. We were expecting to play the Clippers. This should be a walk in the park. If the Lakers just come out with that dominant, we are going to beat this team regardless of, just come out and I'm just finding hard ways to word it, but basically what I'm trying to say is the Lakers, they can't get overly confident, but if they just have the mindset of, we're going to play hard every single game. That's it. Every single minute of every single game, the series is a wrap for them. And ultimately, that's why I'm going to side with the Lakers on this one, outside of me being personally a Lakers fan. I think the fatigue issue is going to be a major factor for the Nuggets. I don't know how much they have left in the tank. And then the Lakers, they also have the two best players in the series in James and Davis. That's usually always going to help. Obviously, against the Clippers, the Nuggets, they went up against Kawhi, who was the best player, and then Paul George has not been solid. So that's where the Nuggets get an advantage of maybe having the second and third best players. The Lakers, by far and away, have the first and second best players in this series. I think overall they're more playoff tested. LeBron James, I think, can lead this team. They got a lot of guys who have played deep into the playoffs in their careers, like a Rondo, like a Danny Green, like a Dwight Howard, J.R. Smith. So all of that, I think, plays in the Lakers' favor. I do think this will be a competitive series. I think the Lakers win in 6 games. They won't blow a 3-1 lead this time. But let me know what y'all think down below. Do the Nuggets make it to the finals? I think for the first time ever. I could be totally wrong on that, but first time in a long time, to say the least. Or the Lakers make it back for a shot at their 17th NBA title, first one since 2010. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, have a great day. And yeah, see you next time.